But if it's for man, what makes him better than me? Even though, obviously, I could give you 500 million proofs of why people were much better than us 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago than today, but it doesn't make a difference. The point is, he's still man. He's still frail. He still has flesh and blood. He's still faulty to a certain extent. But once you know it has a source from God, everything changes. Then, whether I like it or not is no longer valid. I just have to find a way to do it. So it's very, very important for us to know where everything came from. And also, this is another way that for anyone that unfortunately has the displeasure of dealing with messianics or people that try to preach them Christianity, this is also one of the best things to explain to them about why they shouldn't believe in what their own belief. Listen, they don't necessarily all need to convert. If they want to convert, Baruj HaBa, more than welcome to. But they can still be righteous Gentiles. They don't have to convert. If they want to convert, help them in any way you can. If they can't handle it, or it's not possible for them to convert, at least they should be righteous Gentiles, which means they have to leave Christianity. Why? Because it's fake. One of the ways that you can see that it's at the very least unstable and not reliable is the fact that you see, look, based on its own history, on Christian history itself. The New Testament book was written between 70 to 300 years after everyone in that book died.
No sources.
After everyone in the book died, after JC died, after every character in that book died, after everyone died, that's when someone wrote the book. Which means,
how did he know they existed if he never saw them?
How do they know he existed, Bichlal?
Yeah.
None of the characters in the book were alive to testify about what happened. And none of the people that wrote about it have any way to say that this actually happened. There's no evidence. Can't track anything. There's no old text message. There's no email system that they could look. They didn't have the same efficient server system that Hillary Clinton has. She deletes half the emails. They just didn't even have the system at all. So you see that the point I'm trying to tell you here is that you see that there's a huge, huge gap. That's not like a gap it's listen, you can just look over it. It's like a lost page. It's like a lost page. Like, for example, there is anyone who reads Gemara, there's a couple of places in the Gemara where they changed the name from the original version. Like, for example, in the Gemara, Masechet Sotah, page 47, and also in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 107, and also Masechet Shabbat, maybe 46, something like that. So all three of them mention the real story of J.C. Penney. The real story of J.C. and who he was, and it's not exactly a complimenting story. But if you notice, in most Gemarot, they don't mention his name. They say student. They say student. They just mention a student of his Rav, what's his name? Yoshua ben Parchia. The student of Yoshua ben Parchia. And they talk about the whole thing that happened. In the Gemara Masechet Sotah, it talks about exactly the details of what happened, where pretty much the Yoshua ben Parchia, the rabbi, the sage, was traveling, and they were hiding first. They were hiding from the Romans, and then he found out that there's peace, so he was coming back into town. But he stopped over at some righteous person's house, and this righteous person's wife was very accommodating, very nice lady. She was giving him food and so on, and the rabbi, Rabbi Yeshua, was saying to his students, look what nice midot she has. like what derech eretz she has. And the student, which is we find out is JC, is says, she's ugly. Look, her eyes are crooked. First of all, he misunderstood the rabbi, thinking that what he said was instead of her having derech eretz, was she looked good. He was just saying she has good midot. And some say he misunderstood it. But either way, his answer was completely inappropriate, saying, no, she has crooked eyes, she's not even good looking. And there's another maaseh, there's another event where they say that he looked at other women. Long story short, the rabbi said, this is rasha. This is what you learn from me. You learn to occupy your mind by looking at women, especially somebody's wife. And he kicked him out. So then he tried coming and apologizing twice. And the rabbi, wanted to teach him some musar. He was a very strong rabbi. And he rejected him the first 2 times. Rejected him the first 2 times to show that he's serious. He really did tshuva. And it says basically, if you're, if you wronged somebody, you have to ask for forgiveness 3 times. But it also says that if it's a Talmid Chacham, 1,000 times is not enough. But either way, Yeshua ben Parchia was planning on forgiving him on a 3rd time. But Jesus came on the 3rd time, but when did he come? Obviously showing he didn't do tshuva, he didn't do nothing. When did he come? In the middle of prayer. They were praying shachrit. Now halacha is, you're not allowed to speak during your prayers. Not like the Bet Knesset where everybody talks like about baseball and football and the elections. Not allowed to speak during prayer. It's asur. It's a house of Hashem. You're not allowed to speak anything other than prayer in Bet Knesset. It's not that. It's a big avira. So obviously the sages, you didn't have to tell him that. So he's praying in Bet Knesset. He's praying, and what is he doing? Especially he's doing Kriyat Shema. He's doing the Shema Yisrael. Now Shema Yisrael, in Gemara Masechet Brachot, it says even if a king comes into the Bet Knesset, a king comes, you're not allowed to stop Kriyat Shema. Only if your life is in danger. Only if your life is in danger. So now, scorpion. So now, he's in Kriyat Shema, and this guy is, trying to get his attention. So the rabbi is trying, he can't talk to him. So he goes like this to him, meaning, come back, like I can't talk to you right now. What are you going to tell him? Listen, I can't talk, you can't tell him. So he's standing like this, like he's waving him. So Jesus takes it a different way than he's supposed to. Or maybe the way that he really wanted to take it, just didn't. Whatever the case may be, and he completely falls off. He says, you reject me. He leaves town, he goes and learns sorcery. He goes to people that worship idols and learns sorcery from them. Some people say he learned sorcery and that's how he did some of the magic tricks that he did. Some people say that he took the secret of knowing Hashem's name from Rabbi Yoshua and used it in order to the full name of Hashem, used it to make magic. I don't know if he tattooed it or not. All I know is that the point is that whether he made magic or he didn't make magic doesn't make a difference. The point is, they say that's how the story goes. But then the Gemara continues and says that Rabbi Yoshua came back to him and asked him to do tshuva. And he says, no, it's too late for me. As I learned from you, anyone that's a machtia rabim, anyone that causes the public to sin, they don't let him do tshuva. Meaning, he felt that he can't do tshuva anymore. Why? Because he led him to make sins. Why did he make him do sins? He made them idol worship, made him into an idol, and so on. So that's the story of Jesus in the Gemara. Now, there's a few other places that mention the name Jesus in the Gemara. So, first thing is, to come back to our point, is that we see that in the Gemara it doesn't actually say his name in many versions of the Gemara. You buy, whether it's in Art Scroll or other versions, sometimes they won't mention the name Jesus. They'll mention just Talmid, student. And some of them don't have the whole story at all. Like they don't have the whole story I just told you, they cut that out of the Gemara. Why? Because approximately 700 years ago, the Christians saw a Gemara and they took offense to it, saying that they're talking bad about their God. How one of the Gemarot says he's a kofar, he's a heretic. Another one says he's in Gehenom. Each story gets worse than the other. They took it very, very personally, and they started killing Jews over it. Started burning Gemarot. So, for the sake of of Am Yisrael, they cut that piece out of the Gemara. But there was still some. The truth always finds a way to win. The real version still survived. But even today, it's not the easiest thing for a big company or a big publishing company to just say, "Listen, by the way, your GC, he's in hell." So they don't just say student. It's not going to help anybody to tell them that.
He's in hell also. The Goyim.
Yeah, the Goyim say it in their book. Some of their own sages say that he went to hell and he came out.
They say he's in hell because he's suffering for our sins.
I've heard enough. New arrival screams, echoing through the hallway to know that this ain't good. Once they pass him through the infierno, they don't come back. It's enough to make you go crazy.
Do not think we fear you, spirit. We know your power is born of evil. This is your last night in the land of the living. You understand me, malevolent demon?
There was a rich family that lived here called the Hetheringtons, and unfortunately, their daughter passed away of a heart attack inside the house. Basically, they were so devastated that they reached out to people claiming to be psychic mediums. They actually weren't psychic mediums. They opened up a total of 11 portals inside this house and invited spirits and entities from all different kinds of dimensions.
Well, I think there are certain pieces of evidence that there is an afterlife.
Resurrection of the dead is affirmed pretty clearly in the Talmud and the Midrash.
To be honest with you, to give this lecture is a nightmare. If it was up to me, I wouldn't do it.
There's going to be some graphic details.
This place is a maze.
The person after death went to a place called Sheol.
This is by far the largest near-death experience study that has ever been conducted.
People go to a place and they experience weird things. And sometimes they actually will see a character of some type. Well, where did that come from?
I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there.
They may describe feeling profoundly peaceful, seeing a bright, warm, welcoming light. Some people describe watching doctors and nurses working on them with incredible accuracy.
Next thing I knew, I was above my body watching the operation.
How long did you feel like you were gone? I went to a place of timelessness. And so what that means, it could have been a second, could have been 5 minutes. I don't know.
Can you imagine waking up from your sleep and not being able to move?
As I'm lying there, I realized that there's an evil presence next to me.
Do you believe that angels, demons exist?
Holy dude, get out of here! Oh my god, dude!
Strange things keep happening, bizarre nightmares, as if I'm on fire.
Whoa, what the hell is this? Man, I've got bad chest pain.
Satan's Hollow is what it's called, the portal to hell.
Some people calling it an eye of fire, while others said it looked like the portal to hell opening up.
And the next thing I know, I was outside of my body, looking at my body.
What I'm going to do is called claromancy, the art of throwing lots or throwing bones.
2,000 years of experience, passed down, recorded, of how demons work.
God has them all on a leash, and he lets the leash go enough to let them tempt us, because that's what makes us spiritually stronger.
I'm trying to be as graphic as possible so you understand what we're talking about.
It's your ticket to reality. It's your ticket to freedom. It's your ticket to immortality.
Is there an afterlife? Is there a
This
God?
is the type of information that can keep you away from the Tzadeket.
What happens to us after we die?